Good morning. This is our small session on our hybrid meetup in Wrocław. We will cover the basic concept of Kubernetes, the containerization orchestration system that we are using for generally our hosting needs. So, my name is Sobiecki. Hello, I'm a software developer here in Wrocław, and I will go through some basic concept of Kubernetes. Hopefully, I will be able to do a general introduction to the whole concept, and as a demo I will simply try to create a Drupal 9 site on the Kubernetes. During the process I plan to describe, but very general, some basic primitives that Kubernetes are comprised of. So I will talk a little bit about things like pods, services, config maps, volumes, and ingress. And I will try just to scratch the surface. So generally Kubernetes is like an iceberg, and I will cover just a tip of that. So as a way to do so, I will try to not go too much into details, and I will try to base on the graphical interface provided by Rancher service instead of kubectl, which is general and Swiss knife for the interaction with Kubernetes. So that's regarding the introduction. So first, maybe what is the Kubernetes? And I think the best way to say what the Kubernetes is to compare that with the vanilla Docker. So here you can see a small diagram where we can see the general workflow, how we work with Docker. So we are using Docker file, which is like a manifest for images. Docker allows us to build those Docker file into the images, like a package container, of course, and we can make instance of that, and working instance are called containers. So we can build, for example, HTTP server image, and after that run this image. And if we are very happy and keen to do so, we can also share this image on the image registry. There is a public image registry, of course. We can host our private one. So this is how the Docker works. And generally what is missing here is how to make sure that all containers are working, how to make sure that network is set up correctly, how to detect failures, how to execute updates, and how to observe the state of the images, and what's most important, how to scale that, how to run containers on different servers. So there is plenty of problems. Part of them are covered by Docker, part not, and generally there is a gap for a tool that makes that for us. So this is what Kubernetes is, at least from my perspective. Definitions are always hard, but in this, at least from software developers' perspective, it's an orchestration system that allows us to scale, manage, deploy applications. It allows us to do things like self-healing of the containers for now, load balancing, configuration management, and still containers are first-class citizens, so it doesn't replace like a container engine. It simply builds on top of that. It simply improves our experience with that. And what is quite important, it's not like imperative approach where we send the list of commands to the Kubernetes, it's more declarative approach. So we send simply definition, maybe description of what we would like to achieve, and generally Kubernetes hopefully will do the rest of work for us. And all, at least from software developer perspective, not from administrative perspective, things in Kubernetes are called resources, and we have plethora of different resources like pods, services, and each resource can be edited, created, and generally the experience of working with resources is that it's simply editing the YAML files. So the resources can be stored somewhere on the Git repository if we want. There are tools that allow us to do some deployments, pipelines with that. So generally, it's all about editing the YAML files. Of course, we need to know what we do with those YAML files. Okay, so that's regarding theoretical introduction. So first, what I would like to do, so as I said on the start, I would like to have a Drupal 9 installation. So first thing I would need to do, maybe I will show you my Rancher installation. Rancher, generally speaking, is a tool that allows us to manage the Kubernetes clusters. So first thing, and it's beta side, but we still need that, we would like to have a bucket for all our resources. So of course, those buckets are called namespaces. So first thing I would like to do, I will create a demo namespace that I will use for the isolating the things I will do during the demo. So yeah. So let's do one small thing with the terminal. So I will create a resource which is called demo, and that's it. So right now I created using kubectl. I will not use that quite often. A new resource which is in that scenario, simply our isolation. Okay, let's return to the Rancher. And now, what I will do, just a second, if I refresh the page, probably it has been done for me, you can see that I have demo. So, okay, I have the way to isolate my resources, so maybe we should create something. So, okay, I said that I would like to create a Drupal 9 installation. So first thing I would like to have is to maybe have some sort of web server. So how to do that using the Kubernetes? So first, maybe a diagram, just a sec. So generally, like the atom, the most basic primitive in Kubernetes is pod. Pod is abstract object that includes one or more containers, some sort of configuration, and generally it works that Kubernetes fetch the image of a container from the external image registry, like the public one of hub.docker.com, or after that it stores the image on local instance, and when it has image, it can create pods that will also run the containers. Generally, it's in this demo I will use the pods that have only one container, and each pod has a short, like few states of lifetime. So pod can be pending, which means it is during the initialization phase. It can be running, so everything is correct. And if, for example, it has work like a single task, just make some calculation, it can be succeeded or failed. And what is not on this diagram, it can also have unknown state when Kubernetes is not able to fetch out the state from us. So let's create a maybe Nginx pod. So what I will do right now, I will switch to Rancher, just a sec, and okay, I need to find the window with Rancher. Okay, so what I will do, I will create a new pod just for demo. So as I said before, everything can be done as a YAML file. As you see, there is a lot of things we can put here, but I will use a simpler thing. Just a second. So I'm create a pod. As you see, it's resource of kind pod that is called demo Nginx in namespace demo. And I run frontend container based on the would-be Nginx image, fetch from the public image repository. So let's see how it goes. Okay, as you see, something is happening here. So container is creating, and I see that actually the pod is working. And what pod includes, just a second, is a single container called frontend. So not much here. What I can do, I can, for example, check logs, execute shell, so generally interacted. So it's like a very basic brick that we will use for our purpose, but it's not very interesting example. But we will interact with pods during this session later on. Okay. For now, I will not use that, so I will remove this pod, and I will go further to make. So I would like to create a Drupal 9 instance. So I would need a database, I would need a web server, and I would need the PHP FPM server. So how to do that? So the next thing that I would like to describe, just a second, is deployment. So what are deployments? So as you see, I created pod manually. So I simply had to create some YAML file, and after that, magic, and we have working Nginx server, but we don't know how to configure that, we don't know how to scale that, we don't know how to interact with that. So in Kubernetes, like basic thing that we are using, and it manages the replication of pods, and it also provides something like template of pod, are deployments. So deployment allows us to create a list instances of pods and make sure that some minimal amount of pods are working. If some pod is failing, it will try to restart that. So general deployment are things that tries to keep pods in some sort of basic shape. Okay, so and right now what I will try to do, I will use those deployments to make sure that I have working database, working web server, and working PHP server. Okay, so let's switch here. As I said before, I will use the Rancher UI, which creates all YAML magic for me, just to skip the technical details, to make sure that everything is simpler. So I will create deployment using the interface. So I need 3 deployments. One deployment is a database. I will use MariaDB because I like that. As you see, I can ask Kubernetes to keep some sort of minimal amount of replicas, but during this demo I will use only one. And yeah, I will fill some basic fields. So container that pod will have to use will be called like that. I will use would be MariaDB image because I really like those images, and I will expose port 3306 because it's a default port of the MariaDB. Okay, so I will create one deployment. Oh, sorry, it's a name, not port, so my bad, sorry for that. Okay, now it should work. Okay, so MariaDB is trying to spin up. Okay, let's create a PHP FPM. I will use version 7.3. Okay, and I will expose port 9000 because it's FPM default port. Okay, so I create that, and what's more, I will create Nginx. And I will use version 1.15. Okay, and I will expose port 80 of that. Okay, so as you see, something is happening here. So, okay, I see that Nginx is working. The PHP FPM is still trying to do something, and yeah, so we will need to wait a little bit. Meanwhile, I will try to show you. So, as I said, the deployments are also resources. As you see, plenty of different values. I will not go through them, but it's always, if we are working with Kubernetes, we're always working with some YAML files. Okay, so as you see, MariaDB and PHP deployment are still updating. We don't have a number of pods working. Not sure what is going on. So I can check the status here. Just a second, it's loading. And I have information that something is wrong. The MariaDB pod is not starting. I can check the logs. And I see that this image doesn't have configuration. So yeah, something is wrong. So we need a way to provide a configuration for the MySQL. I will also check what is wrong with PHP FPM because I'm doing something wrong probably here also. There's also something wrong. I need okay. Probably I entered the wrong image name, so I will need to correct that. So bear with me. Yeah, probably I need to change the image name for that. Okay, so yeah, I have said that the MariaDB needs some sort of configuration, and we need a way to provide that. So just a second. So let's return to presentation. So we are running deployments, try to run pods, but it fails to run the MariaDB because of missing configuration. We need something like that. So we need a way to inject environment variables, because it's a proper way to do in Docker generally, to make sure that image is working as we really need. And to do so, give me a second, I will take a bit of water, because yeah, I was talking and talking, so just a sec. Okay, much better. So, what we can do to configure the pods, make sure that pods have proper configuration. So I will skip maybe all ways. I will try to the simplest one, but one way is simply to put those environment variables as part of the pod skeleton, but also we can create resources like config map or secrets for more fragile data that can be mounted to the pod and provide environment variables. So maybe I will show that right away, because it's simply to do. So for example, we can create a secret resource that will be propagated as environment variables, and secrets of course are something that are secret, because that are what we need secret for. So let's return to the launcher. Okay, so MariaDB is still unhappy regarding missing configuration, so let's do something about this. So one thing I will do, I will provide a secret, as I said. Let's call that secret. Oh, sorry, it's about existing secret, so my bad. Oh, okay. So for now I will skip that, because I see that I need provide secret separately, but maybe for now I will simply inject the environment variables directly. I will return to secrets in a moment. So I believe I need something like MySQL root password, and call it 123. Why not? It's of course terrible way to do so. Never do think like that, but just for demo. So okay, something wrong. Okay, I need to reload the page. Unfortunately, Rancher needs to things like that, so I will need to repeat this process. Okay, MySQL root password, and let's call it 123. Yeah, right now it's better. As you see, MariaDB was able to run the pod right now. So I provided the environment variable. As you see, okay. And if I check the logs, I see that something is happening there. A lot of communicates, but I believe all of them are correct. Okay, and just to show you what I have done in terms of YAML files, if I go to the YAML file, you can see that in a template of pod, I prepare the environment variable for that. So this is one way to do things. The second thing I can do, I can create a secret. Opaque is like the most common way to type of secrets. I skip the types of secrets, they are out of the scope. like MariaDB. So I can create MySQL root password, something like 123. And when I have this secret, I can, not this workload, I can in deployment use that secret. Not this. Too many. Okay, to be honest, it's like a demo effects. I forgot how to do that in the interface, but generally it's possible to inject environment variables for secrets. It was a bit out of scope of this demo, but yeah, right now I'm not able to find that right away. But yeah, just like a side note. Maybe I will return to that later if I will have time. Okay, so let's go further. So we have three things: MariaDB, Nginx, PHP, FPM. The question is how to actually communicate one with the another one. So to do so, we need to make sure that there are some sort of exposed networking. And way to do so, just a sec, is things called services. Services allow us to expose pod or list of pods based on thing called labels, and make sure that one pod is able to communicate the another one. So generally it's like we have some sort of request that contacts service, and service finds the pods that meet some sort of criteria and redirects traffic to that pod. So for example, it's pod 1 and 2 match some sort of condition and pod 3 not, so it will not be part of communication. Okay, so how to do that services? Just a second. I will do that using the Rancher UI to make it a bit faster. So I will use interface using cluster IP. Cluster IP is type of service, so I will expose the service for this bot. Let's save, and I will probably need also this one. Okay. I will also create a cluster IP here. So what happened right now? I created two services like MariaDB and PHP FPM. It means that if I will try to contact host MariaDB or PHP-FPM, the Kubernetes will be able to find that, and it will simply redirect my traffic to the all pods that have label. Label is like a tag, nothing special, that has name like that. The Rancher actually created that for me, so it's like a condition. You can have more than one pod to match the criteria. So where we are at the moment. So I have database server, I have FPM server, I have Nginx server. So right now I should be able to communicate from PHP FPM PHP container to the MariaDB and actually maybe create a database. Let's see if it's actually doable or not. So I'm going to FPM, PHP FPM. and I will try to contact oh, something wrong. Sorry. Yeah, and I was able to communicate with MariaDB. So maybe I will quickly create a serve. So I created database Drupal. So right now what I have here is I was able to create some sort of communication between containers. So far I simply created some containers, but we didn't see actually the Drupal. So maybe we should do something about this. So what I will do right now, I will expose the Nginx publicly over the web. So there is plenty of way to do so. What I will do right now, I will use so let's return to the presentation. So cluster RP services I created are like the private networking, but we need something that exposes the service over the web. And for that, I will use something called ingress. So ingress is a set of rules that allow us to redirect all requests, like all requests to the demo.ratio.web.pl to selected service. And after that, this service will pass through this request later on to the pods that actually match some sort of services criteria. So let's create an ingress and we'll see what is doing right now. I will try to create ingress under this demo.ratio.web.pl domain. So first, maybe I will try to show you what we have under this domain. So just a sec. Nothing. 404 not found. So let's try to do something about this. So I will create ingress. So all requests to demo.ratio.web.pl should go to the path, and we are using, oh sorry, I forgot about exposing the service to Nginx, so I need to return that, just a sec. So I will create a service, also private service. And now let's return to this ingress, sorry. Okay, and we are go to the Nginx port 80. Okay, let's create. Okay, let's create that, and I need to do one small trick. So yeah, just a sec. I need to update this YAML file because I need to add special annotation to this ingress, which is its technical dependency that will say that this ingress should be used using some special ingress controller. It's aside of the scope of this presentation, so I will skip that. Just give me a second, I will check my notes. I will use maybe documentation of my cloud provider, and I will copy that from that. Sorry for that. We will need this one. So Kubernetes IO ingress class simply says that okay, this ingress should be provided using that. Maybe I will save. And let's make sure that it's working correctly. Annotations, okay, and the value. Okay, so right now I have working ingress that expose as service. Let's see if it's working. Oh, 403, so something is happening. And actually what is happening right now is we simply don't know. We have empty directory and Nginx and PHP, so yeah, it's hard to serve anything. So we need to make sure that we have some files to serve. So let's do that. So I will return to the sorry for that, not this. Let's return to the PHP. Let's return to the PHP, and I will simply install, download the Drupal files using Composer. Okay. Okay, it's empty, so I will use Composer. I always forgot about name of template. Yes, it's probably this one. Yeah, I'm a bit short of time, but I will try at least to show you the installer that it's working. So just to wrap the presentation, unfortunately I will need to cut one small section, but no worries, it's not that important. So yeah, I downloaded the files, so I will maybe copy that for what Composer exposed for me. Okay, let's see if we have anything better. Okay, right now I know that it doesn't work because that would-be Nginx requires a bit different host that I provided, so it's my mistake. So I will quickly fix that. So I created service that is called php-fpm. Actually the correct name should be the PHP, just PHP. I believe it should solve the problem. Oh, sorry. Okay, so maybe I'll create that bit different. Okay. So not PHP, but php-fpm. Let's see if it helps. Okay, I will create a new one. So I'm creating the new service, and I need to provide a correct selector, so I will use this one. Yeah, So as you see, I provided selector and service was able to find one pod, and it's good. That provides things for us. Okay, so still I have some problems. I know that it's also because I need some configuration for Nginx. So I will quickly, as you see, changing the configuration is quite easily, but of course we need to remember about everything, and during the demo you can simply skip something. So probably we need to add a few things. I will use the Docker for Drupal as a snippet because I base on the images from this project. So I would need preset, which is Drupal 9, and I would need host for FPM, which is PHP. Okay. After changing the configuration, yeah, Nginx has been restarted. Let's see if it actually is whole. Okay. So yeah, we have small progress, but still not there. So as you see, the PHP, the Nginx was able to contact to the PHP, but we still don't have everything in place. So let's check what is wrong. Okay. So yeah, the thing that happened here is that I haven't covered the last bit, which was the persistence. Right now, if we remove pod, everything that this pod includes will be removed. So I will add, as I'm a bit out of the time, simply few things of the description of persistency in Kubernetes, but right now I want to show you that the installer of Drupal is working. So yeah. Okay, and what's this one? Okay, so yeah, some sort of demo effect is in place. So actually I don't know what is happening right now. I can try to simply quickly check, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so I see that I have some sort of problem with, but yeah, I will check one thing. Be with me. I hope I will be able to solve that quickly.
Time is running.
Aha, okay. So yeah, so unfortunately, looks like I have some demo effect. So the problem is that from some reason communication between PHP and Nginx containers are not correct. But it was actually the last step that we needed to show the working installer. So just to summarize where we are at the moment. So yeah, the ingress allow us to the, sorry, I will switch the presentation to the, okay, so in presentation, ingress allow us to contact to Nginx. From some reason, we failed to do communication between Nginx and PHP. Of course, demo effect has its rules. And what was missing and what I will fail to show is to persistence, because the last thing we really needed was simply to create a claim of persistence, like we ask Kubernetes to create a volume that will store the files for us, and this volume, for example, can be shared between Nginx and PHP to make sure that all fields are in place. But unfortunately, because of the problems in last step, I was not able to be there, so sorry for that. But yeah, it was the last step. So yeah, if you have any questions, please chat me on this Hopin chat. I'm happy to answer, and I think that concludes the session. So thank you very much.